I got you, buddy. Good to
What's
have you
happening, man?
on.
Great to be on with you.
So I had to pick your brain about this series because it's been driving me insane.
Well, look, first of all, it's just a shame what happened at the end of game two, right? And I know, it does no good for the Sixers fans to harp on it, and certainly not their players. But, the NBA admitted they essentially took a game away from the Sixers. And in such a hard fought series, when your best player is banged up like Embiid is, that's tough to handle. But you got to overcome it. They got to put it behind them. And it really should be 1-1. But outside of that, like my pick was Knicks in 7. So I think this is going to be a long fought series. I think Philly ties it up 2-2. And, game 5 is pivotal. But I picked the Knicks because I didn't think Embiid was 100%. And obviously he's not. He's still shooting the ball well. But he's not, he's not able to rebound. Defensively, he's not what he has been. And I think that will be the defining thing about this series is that the Knicks will be able to prevail because Embiid isn't at his best, even as he's putting up some points for you.
You know what's amazing, the storyline too, Chris, is that, the Sixers have really done a good job on Brunson. So they've kept Brunson at bay, and it's been Hart, and it's been role play, Hartenstein, Mitchell Robinson in game 1, Miles McBride in game 1.
Yep.
So it's been all that supporting cast.
Well, Philly, they did a great job on Brunson in the regular season too. So I figured he wouldn't come in and be able to have his way. He's gutted his way through some stuff to get 23 points a game, but he's shooting below 30%. I think he'll pick it up above that. But you said it. I mean, you cannot – first of all, credit to Josh Hart and Miles McBride and these guys, but you cannot let them score like that. Hart cannot be getting 21 points a game. He's a 10-point scorer. And that's something the Sixers have to fix because, like you said it, they've shut down or at least limited severely their main guy, which is Brunson, but the others have been able to pick it up. And I got to be honest, and you guys probably see it. So far, it looks like the Knicks have just wanted it more. And I get that there were fouls. There were fouls on that last play with Maxey and everything. But still, the Knicks were hustling their tails off, and the Sixers looked like they were just hoping the clock would wind down. And that's the difference so far in this series is the Knicks look like they're hungrier than the Sixers. And evidence of that, you're getting nothing from Tobias Harris and Kelly Oubre, which has surprised me because Harris is obviously a good player, and Oubre has been very good for you guys this season. But so far, they haven't given you anything. And with Embiid playing on one leg, it's tough. Kyle Lowry's out there doing the best he can, but he's 38 years old, for goodness sake. I mean, he's only going to be able to do so much. So, unlike the Knicks, the Sixers haven't gotten the help from their quote-unquote others, and that is also a big difference in this series.
Huge. And not only have they not contributed, they've looked scared, right? They've looked timid. They've played like lambs. Like you bring up to Tobias or you bring up Oubre, who I'm shocked because I thought he could play with little care and just let it hang out.
He was gritty, right? Gritty, and I did not think he would shrink in this moment.
No.
Maybe I was fooled by the tattoos or something, but I don't know. I mean, I expected a dog. And look, I still think he is, but he got to wake up, man. I know he obviously hadn't had a lot of playoff experience, but he's got to wake up. And, they got to get this game tonight, obviously, and they're going to need Oubre and Harris, or at least one of them, to step up with a solid game.
Hey, were you surprised at all about Buddy Hield? Like, what a mystery, man. Like, I got to tell you, I mean, you want to talk about being timid in the moment. Playoffs, I'm shocked at the looks that he gets on the floor.
Yeah, and that's what he is a shooter, right? And he's not hitting them. He obviously hadn't played a ton of minutes, but he hadn't earned them. But in this series where you need shooting and every little detail counts, if he can give you some buckets, and maybe going home, playing at home always helps the role players, right? Like we
Yeah.
said the Knicks role players have stepped up largely because they've been at the Garden, and maybe, tonight and the next game, the Sixers role players will step up. I would expect at least a few of them to play much better than they did in New York.
This is a coming out party a bit for Tyrese Maxey, who was named the most improved player. And I just want to get your take on him, Chris. And we're talking to Chris Broussard, Fox Sports, a great sports guy, great NBA guy. It's funny. We talked about Harden, the role of Harden, and how he kind of sagged and all. And Maxey's been the opposite. And he had his flu game. It's a shame if the Sixers win game 2, that's Maxey's flu game. I mean, that was an impressive performance.
Nah, he was great. He was great. And as you said, he was the most improved player this year. Now, I'm a voter. I'm an official voter. I did not even have him on my ballot. It was not out of disrespect to him, but actually, I feel like it was out of respect. He was great last year.
You're right.
Right? As the third guy giving you 20 points a game, he was efficient from the floor. I really thought, as great as he was this year, deserving All-Star, I thought the only difference was he just got more opportunities because obviously James Harden wasn't there and the ball was in his hands. His numbers went up, but his efficiency went down a little bit, but that's fine. But I just thought he was a very good player last year. This year, with more opportunities, he played even better. But I didn't think that was most improved because I usually look at a guy that really was kind of off the radar, at least made a huge jump and went from being like maybe mediocre or okay to, oh, wow, this guy, really put up some all-star type numbers. So Maxey, I thought, was already the guy last year, and he just didn't get as much of an opportunity because of James Harden. But yeah, he look, I mean, honestly, he's given me more than Embiid. And again, we understand Embiid has the injury, but Maxey has been great. He's been the best player in the series. I mean, when you really look at all the numbers, he's been the best player in the series. And what I need from Embiid too is I need some better rebounding.
Yeah,
because you guys are getting killed on the glass. The Sixers are getting killed on the glass, right? And that last play when DiVincenzo hit the three, I mean, Embiid, that was his box out. Hartenstein got the rebound. That was Embiid's box out, and he didn't get one rebound in the second half. I need more from Embiid.
He had 10 points in the first quarter. All 10 in the first quarter.
So don't tell me you can't rebound. If you got 10 in a quarter, you should be able to get a few over the rest of the game. So Embiid's got, look, I just bake in now that come playoff time, Embiid's not going to be 100%. You hope he's playing. He's probably going to miss a game or two in each postseason. And when he plays, he's going to be 70 to 80%. And that's what you see. But now I'm like, look, if you're out there, I'm going to hold you accountable. And I need him to be a little tougher inside. I need him to rebound better. He's a fantastic jump shooter. But I also want a little bit more inside, too, because they need some physicality.
Listen, I hear you. Last thing, brother, you're the perfect guy to ask this question because you've covered games in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. You and I worked together in New York and, spent a lot of time together at Madison Square Garden. What's the tougher arena to play in?
Wow. That's a great question. Look, obviously Philly has fantastic fans. And when you got good fans, when they'll get on the home team too. You know what I mean? They're like, look, we coming with expectations. All right, we're paying your bills, so we want you to give it your all. But I will say the Garden just because of the setup. I mean, it's how it is. It's dark all around the outside, and it's like you're on a stage, right? Like Broadway or something, because the court is lit up,
yes.
but the crowd
yes.
is dark, right?
Yes.
And then you got, you'll have stars here and there in Philly. I remember seeing Bill Cosby and Will Smith and guys at playoff games. But, you got rappers, you got actors, you got celebrities in the front rows. And for players and teams that aren't used to that can, these are people sometimes you look up to or you're big fans of. And sometimes that can be a little bit of a factor, or at least something you got to adjust to. So I would say the Garden, its history, even though the Knicks haven't been a terrific team throughout their history, the Garden is a hallowed place. And, the players in the Athletic, they just had an anonymous player poll. And the majority of the players said that that was the arena they liked playing in the most. So it's our biggest city in the country. Even though the team isn't that good, it's still New York City, right? And so I do think that holds some significance. So I would say the Garden is the better place to play, or a tougher place to play.
All right. I love it. It's a great debate, man. It's the whole thing, big brother, little brother city.
Right.
I wrote about it in the Post the other day. It's a lot of fun. Chris, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much, my man. I always appreciate it.
Oh, man, anytime you need me, you know that, man. Keep up the great work.
And vice versa. I'll be listening, man. We work together on Fox Sports Radio and Chris, of course, on FS1 as well. Thanks, brother. Have a great one, pal.
All right, my man. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.